Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. Sister Bev and Shaw are on their way home after a good rest and looking at condominiums and looking at opportunities for buildings to start the work here in Hawaii. So we're greatly looking forward to all the great new things that God has for us in the new year. Right now, I want us to go back to the book of the beginnings, Genesis chapter 6, beginning with verse 1. When men began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not contend with men forever, for he is mortal, and his days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward. When the sons of God went into the daughters of men and had children with them, they were the heroes of old, men of renown. The Lord saw how great man's wickedness on the earth had become, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only on evil all the time. The Lord was grieved that he had made man on earth, and his heart was filled with pain. So the Lord said, I will wipe mankind whom I have created from the face of the earth, man and animals and creatures that move along the ground and birds of the air, for I am grieved that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. This is the account of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked with God. I want you to see that in times of incredible wickedness, there is always a remnant. The Bible says it this way, that there's always a remnant chosen by grace. In the middle of all of this wickedness, we find a remnant in the family of Noah and his sons. Now notice the spiritual condition of the earth. In verses 1 and 2, people were living in self-choice. Rather than following the plan of God for their lives, they had decided to live a life of self-choice. That's a dangerous way to live. Their wickedness was great, so that all of their thoughts was on evil all of the time. 24/7, the only thoughts they thought were evil thoughts. There was nothing good and pure and lovely in their minds. Now, that shows you what the future is going to be. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, God's response to all of this wickedness is very simple. In verse 6 it says he was grieved. It really hurt him. He was made sad. It wounded him. It hurt his heart that such a thing had happened. He was filled with pain, verse 7. His heart was filled with pain. And then he says, enough of this. I'm walking away from these relationships. If that's how they want to live and they don't want me in their life, then that's fine. And that's an amazing thought that we should meditate on a little bit. But I want you to notice that there was a remnant. There was a remnant that God showed favor to. Here was a man named Noah who was blameless on the earth. And isn't it interesting that every human being today on the earth descended from a remnant, descended from a righteous man who chose to live a righteous life in a wicked world. Blameless among the people, he walked with God, verse 9. God spoke to him in verse 13, and he listened and he obeyed, and God showed him the plan for an ark. But I think it's just beautiful just to meditate on the thought that all of the descendants of the earth today flow from one man who chose to live a righteous life in the middle of a wicked world. Young people, you see all the wickedness, and even in Christianity today, it's, nobody wants any rules. Well, the Bible does have some rules for living in this relationship we have with God. But you live in a world that's surrounded by wickedness, and young people, it's so easy to just say, Bahala na. But young people, listen to me. Remember Noah, a remnant. One man made a difference in the world. One man became the forefather of all human beings on the earth today because he chose to live a righteous life. The remnant always makes a difference.